Hi, all of you. My name is Signe Nielsen and I'm from Viking Life-Saving Equipment. I will, with this presentation, tell you a little bit about what we are working on within Work Package 3 in relation to novel LSA. I will take you through one of the concepts we are working on, and Tim Hunt from Savitech will explain to you what we are doing in the other concept. I'll just minimize myself so you are able to see the presentation better. If we look at this concept, the target of this is to create more flexibility and mobility for the evacuation scenarios. So what we have done is that we have divided the LSA unit, which is the unit for the evacuation water, and the escape way, which is the transfer element from deck level to water. So we have in the novel LSA units are stored in a position elsewhere on the vessel, and then they can be deployed, inflated, and transfer themselves to where the escape way will be placed in that specific evacuation scenario. Because the escape way, you are able to move along the ship side and choose a location that suits the embarkation need that the SafePASS system is, the data from the SafePASS system is supplying for that specific evacuation scenario. If we look at it at a vessel specification more in detail, then you can have your LSAs or these escape ways installed forth and aft. And you can have your LSA units installed either at the embarkation deck, or we also discussed the opportunity of having your LSAs stored inside the vessel in an enclosed compartment. Of course, in one fire zone, because that will allow you to have LSA distributed to either side of the vessel, depending on which type of evacuation scenario you are having and what the data provides you from the SafePASS system. This is if we go from peacetime to evacuation mode, then you distribute your escape ways along the ship side based on your evacuation need in that particular part of the vessel. And then you distribute your LSAs and they move themselves to your escapeway platform, which is done by a smart technology and a localization based on what the data is given from the SafePASS system. This is one configuration. We have also looked into another configuration of how to implement this on a vessel. This is where you have a stationary system installed in the center of the vessel. And that system then becomes a sort of a distribution center, you can say, for the LSA units. You can connect your LSA units to that system. So when you have done the specific evacuation, then all of your helmsmen for the novel LSA can come from the stationary system. And that way you minimize the scenario where a novel LSA has to find the platform by smart technology in a hard weather situation. So this could be a stepping stone against the other based on how the technology would suit the concepts. So this is a mother-daughter kind of a setup, you can say, where you have a mother system that supports all the smaller systems. If we look into what is this escapeway unit, as we propose it, it has to be independent from the ship side in relation to positioning, because we have to move it along the ship side. We cannot have ship side installations conflicting with that movability. So that's why we are looking into a positioning arrangement with a stability weight below the escape way, and that is what is holding the system in position when we are doing the evacuation. Then we have the escape way and the platform, which is deflated when it is stowed, and the brake vents just a means of how to control the deployment. One way of looking at the distribution along the ship side could be based on the whaling system that is also looked into in work package 3.3, where you have this whaling system that transfer the LSAs. But another way of doing it is actually to do the push out when you are in your stowed position, then push it out, and with the means of gravity making it rotate so it locks onto a bar that's pre-installed on the ship side, and that way you can move your LSAs when they are already pushed out, and that could give you some free deck on the embarkation deck to be used for other use or for a smarter embarkation. We have looked a little bit on how can you say that office lab mode into how could we do this push out and take all means of help from gravity, and I'll just show you what our volume 1 concept could look on, just on a concept level, to see how we can construct, because it is really keen that this unit is as small as possible in relation to transfer it along the ship side. And giving that we also need the stability weight to be part of it. I think that this was what I had the time to tell you about. Our next steps will be looking into details around the platform and this push-out system and see how we can interact it with the interface of the system and the vessel. Thank you so much for listening. Here's my name and information. If you have any further questions, I'm ready to answer. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tim Hunt. I'm from Savitech, and I'd like to say thank you to Sinne Nielsen from Viking for the first half of this presentation on novel LSA as part of Work Package 3 in the SafePASS project. So I'm going to present a more future concept, which we've also been looking at and exploring as part of the Work Package 3. So without further ado, I'll get stuck in. We actually start off with a more current state piece of technology, which is the Edge class vessels. So they are fitted with a magic carpet. It's the orange structure that you can see here on the side of the vessel. Now this is used as a bar or restaurant and also an access platform. It can move from the top deck of the vessel completely all the way down to the waterline. Now, what we'd like to do is add a few extras. So we'd like to have one per fire zone on each side of the vessel. Now, what this would do is allow for safe evacuation, no matter what the state of the stricken vessel. But also, the main target of this is to create a dual use space, so that this concept is a restaurant as well as an LSA, but also avoiding the lowering of loaded lifeboats. So, as I said, in normal, regular use, it functions as a bar or restaurant, which adds value to the ship owner because there is a regular use public space. Then the value added to the passengers is that they become familiar with the location. They can know their route to and from this bar area, no matter what the deck is on, and it becomes a more familiar area that they've been to before an evacuation. Also, the bar would provide direct and level access from whichever deck it has stopped at on the vessel, allowing for passengers with reduced mobility or perhaps wheelchairs to be able to access the bar without any problem. Then, this is where its secondary use comes in. During an evacuation, the bar would be lowered down to the water. This isn't abnormal for the magic carpet system. However, we would like to combine it with a few other things. Firstly, from the task 3.3, the novel architecture one of the concepts that was put forward was a slide-based system to move between the deck levels of the vessel, which I'll go on to explain on the next slide. So whilst we're here, we can see that there are multiple LSA alongside the bar, which means they can be boarded simultaneously, allowing for a higher evacuation rate. Also, this number of LSA could be controlled through the SafePASS smart system. If additional units are required at a particular evacuation point, then this could be arranged automatically through the smart system. So, as I mentioned, as part of the novel architecture, one concept was put forward that during an evacuation, the balconies between cabins could be opened up and allow passengers to move more freely through that deck area. Then to descend to lower decks, emergencies type inflatable slides would be stored in the floor space, allowing passengers to move from upper decks down to lower decks to make their way to the novel LSA location. Anyway, back to the bar. Now, the bar would be cleared of furniture so that the space can be used for wheelchairs and stretchers to be securely fastened for abandonment of the vessel. Whilst this is happening, we're also loading the LSA on alongside the bar. So once these LSA are completely full, then the bar would inflate buoyancy bags so that it can float before being lowered completely into the water so that it can be released from the stricken vessel. Now, the bar would be fitted out with some propulsion systems and some technology. So let's have a look. There is solar glass providing electrical power for recharging of batteries. Now, this would be fitted for the whole canopy over the top of the bar. Then the buoyancy chambers would be separated out so that there is an increased redundancy. Should there be any damage to any of these, we're not compromising the entire vessel. Also, the electrical motors and thrusters would provide propulsion and control of this system once it's released from the vessel using an offload type release mechanism. So the solar panels, as I said, are combined with battery and hydrogen storage system, which would then be converted into electrical power to generate propulsion within the bar system. The propulsion coming from large electrical turbines, as can be seen on a consumer market at the moment. Then some type of offload release hook would be used to ensure there's no accidental release of the bar when it's not required and when it's not fully buoyant. So once all the LSA have been boarded and the bar has been released from the vessel, it would then be used to tow the deployed LSA to a safe area away from the vessel. The bar would also contain the communication, navigation, and support needed for the particular LSA that is attached to it. The bar would also then work as a platform for the search and rescue operation, which would follow an abandonment from the vessel. So, in conclusion, this future concept is a dual use space. It's both a bar area and an LSA, which makes use of inflatable LSA units for high capacity and the rigid structure for less mobile passengers. There's an electrical propulsion system fitted so that the bar can be independently movable and also have an increased range through solar recharging. And it would provide additional search and rescue platform for movement of passengers after an abandonment. Thank you very much for your attention. My name is Tim Hunt from SafePASS. Should you have any questions or want to contact me, please send me a line. Thanks very much for listening.